except I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I hurt your mom. I'm sorry I hurt, your sisters. Yeah.
So have you heard the quote, with great power comes great responsibility?
Yes, I have.
What do you think about that quote?
I think it's valid.
Elaborate. Why? What's valid about it? It's okay to walk up to a person and punch them in the head if it gives you sensory pleasure.
No.
It's okay to punch a punching bag if it gives you some sensory pleasure.
Sure.
It's okay to punch a dog if it gives you sensory pleasure.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's okay to punch a pig if it gives you sensory pleasure.
Not at all.
Just the more power you have, the more things that you can become responsible for. When you get older, you mature, you have more power, but then you have more responsibilities. You have to pay taxes, you have kids, you have to take care of them.
So we kind of said that the pig, the dog, the human, they weren't okay to punch them. What's different about them that it makes it not okay?
A punching bag is not alive. It's just not okay. Just like it wasn't okay with Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Yeah. There you go.
It's not okay, and it's not okay to treat animals cruel.
Yeah, I think those are two good examples. I like to think of it like a relative thing. Like if you're very wealthy, like I think there's some responsibility to give back. Like an adult has a responsibility to children because they're more powerful than them. Or like if there was a dog that was trapped, like I'm more powerful than the dog, so like I should rescue the dog or something like that, right? Do you feel like all that's like pretty?
Agreed.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
And why is it? What it is about them? So like, can humans feel pain and emotions? Can dogs feel pain and emotions? Can pigs feel pain and emotions?
We know humans feel pain and emotion. I know my dog feels pain.
Yeah.
I think there's some emotion in there.
Does your dog ever get excited to see you?
Oh, yes, excited and wants to fuss at me because, I don't want to play or something. And I don't know about a pig, even though it's funny because I have a pig that lives like 7 houses up from me in my subdivision.
Yeah.
I'm not out in the country or anything. His name is Stuart. Well, I wouldn't kick Stuart because he feels pain. And he has to feel something else, too, because he charged after my dog. So, I don't know.
Yeah, so pigs actually, a lot of people are surprised. Pigs are about as smart as a dog. Some studies even show they're smarter than dogs. Okay, so that was sort of the first set of questions. So then I'm going to move to the second set. And remember, these might be a little more emotional, these questions. So again, if you feel uncomfortable, you can leave at any time. Do you eat cows, chickens, dairy, eggs, any of that stuff?
I do, yes.
Okay. Yes.
Do you think that we have power over those animals in animal agriculture?
I do, yeah.
Do you think those animals sort of suffer or get exploited or have any sort of their freedoms taken away from them in animal agriculture?
Yeah, I think there are lots of situations in which that happens.
I'm sure, but I think it depends on the owner. You have good and bad. You have good and bad people. Some people abuse their animals, and some people really are about the process. They care. I guess that's the only word I can care. They care about what they're doing. They're 100% above board in the process.
Scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you think animal agriculture is? Most of it. 10 being the worst, 1 being nothing.
I'm not well versed on the topic, but I would say it's probably a 7. I'd say probably pretty bad from what I've seen.
So I think there's definitely this thing where some people are actively abusive to their animals, right? I guess what I'm kind of talking about more is standard practices. So most animals come from very large farms. In those farms, there's just standard practices. So standard practices in the farm and in the slaughterhouse. Do you think just on those standard practices that those animals undergo any sort of pain, emotional or physical?
I would hope, other than when they put them to their death, that I would hope that they don't have pain. I don't know why you would have chickens every day that you have to just feed and clean up their stuff. Why would they have any pain? Or cows and stuff. I would hope in a normal situation that they don't have pain.
So I also hoped that. And then I talked to some people and I learned some unfortunate things. What have you seen, actually?
In my AP French class, we talked about animal cruelty in science and animal testing, but also just in the meat industry.
I'm just going to take you real quick through 1 minute of what happens to a pig.
Okay.
Is that okay? I'm going to ask you some questions along the way. It might be brutal.
Okay.
So when pigs are piglets, when they're babies, we cut off their tails and their teeth. And do you know why we might do that?
No.
I do not.
So because what they end up doing is crowding the pigs so much, the pigs will cannibalize each other and they'll eat each other's tails.
Because they're close in proximity or because they're hungry?
The proximity is more the thing, because they feed them, but yeah, they go crazy from being so close together. Then also when they're piglets, we actually castrate them without anesthetic. So typically just using a knife, they will literally just cut their testicles out while they're babies. And do you know why we might do that?
So that they can't procreate?
That's one thing, yeah, but it's also for taste. And then do you know how most pigs are killed?
They're just slaughtered, I assume.
Be specific. What do you think happens?
I don't exactly know, but I'm sure it's quite brutal and graphic.
It is, and I appreciate that you're here talking about this. I know it can be tough. But most pigs are actually around 80 to 90% of them are put into gas chambers.
In gas to death?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that fast?
Not really. So the CO2 gas actually sort of enters their sort of all of their soft tissues. Whenever there's like wetness, it forms an acidic compound, and it sort of suffocates them and burns them from the inside. Yeah.
Okay, that's disgusting.
Yeah. I know. I know. It's horrible.
Okay,
it's fucking terrible.
Why do they do that?
Because it's efficient. I know that you never heard that before. Just tell me how you feel. Like, what sort of emotions are you feeling when you hear that?
Well, feel guilty, but
It's a valid emotion.
Yeah.
I felt guilty too. Yeah.
that's what I think.
What would you say, like, if a pig could talk and say, hey, why are you doing this to me? You know, why are you castrating me? Why are you putting me in this gas chamber? What sort of justification would you think you would offer them?
I don't know. I think that
I'm sorry. I mean, there's not a justification.
I think that I would tell the pig that they're helping people to a certain extent, like sacrificing themselves for the life of others. I don't necessarily know if that's like right, but that's the best thing I could say to them to make them feel better, I guess, in that situation.
If you really want to get down to it, like, I guess from my perspective, it's not like it's not like I don't want to know. Mm-hmm. But then I'm not just going out there asking about how do you kill this pig or how do you kill that cow? Because I get my bacon, I get my beef and stuff. But I don't know. I'd rather not know.
I guess imagine if like aliens were farming us, and an alien said that to you. They were like, "You're going to help me eat, so I'm going to put you in this gas chamber." Would you find that acceptable from that alien?
No, not really. No. But I don't think anything I could say they would really find acceptable. I don't think anything can really make that situation any better. So
I wouldn't know what to tell a pig, except I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry I hurt your mom. I'm sorry I hurt, your sisters. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's tough.
Because I don't need, I hate to say this, but if it really came down to it where the cow talked to me and the pig talked to me and the dog talked to me, I wouldn't need to eat meat. There's vegetables and there's fruit and stuff out there, and yeah. And I mean, I know people have stopped eating meat because of finding out, how they killed the animals and how what they're fed and all the whole processes of all of that and stuff. But I'm not there, but I could do it without. I might need me some ground turkey, but
I'm sure you haven't thought about this much before, and I appreciate I'm kind of like putting a lot of information on you right now. But when you go to the grocery store next, I don't know if you go to the grocery store, if you eat at food halls or whatever, and you have the option, right? You can pick the bacon or you can pick something else. If you pick that bacon up, what do you think justification would sort of validate that?
I will say, like, honestly, my day-to-day life, I don't really think about it that much. But now that we've had this conversation, I'd probably think about, like, where it came from. I do prefer to get, like, meats and stuff that are, like, locally sourced, and I know they were, like, treated well in, like, a farm. But, I mean, eventually they're all killed. Like, that's just, like, the way it goes. So I don't really know if I'd have any justification if I were, like, speaking to the pig. But, I'd definitely think about it more now.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of sort of alternatives now too. There's all sorts of like mock meats and things like that for you to like transition and stuff. But you don't even have to eat that. You can eat whole food, plant-based. I like beans, lentils, tofu, and then there's just like vegetables. I'm a vegan. Okay. Yeah, so I don't eat any meat and no eggs and dairy.
And you eat fish?
Nope, nothing.
No fish?
No,
so just wow.
Yeah, fish are bad too.
But you know what? I'm going to go eat a hot dog. But thankfully it's beef.
I'm going to go eat a hot dog.
So I think you touched on a thing too, is that like there's this question of, is it ever okay to kill someone who doesn't want to die? And I think it's kind of like what you touched on, is that the local farm, no matter what, the pig will get killed, right? But I will tell you, all the same stuff happens at local farms. Pigs are still castrated without anesthetic, and still basically their teeth are cut out, tails, all that stuff. And those pigs at local farms, they still end up stripping them to a slaughterhouse. So most pigs aren't slaughtered on site. So even if it is like a local farm, they typically still go to a big slaughterhouse where they're put in a gas chamber.
It's not great.
Yeah. If I were to give you a resource, would you be interested in a resource that could help you potentially like practically like switch over if that was something you were interested in?
I would definitely look into it, but I don't know if it's something that would like work with my lifestyle, especially right now as a college student. I don't really have many dining options, so I kind of just eat what's given to me. So, but I would definitely look into it.
What do you value more, the life and suffering of like a sentient individual, or taste and convenience?
I think I mean, I feel like there's an obvious answer to that, but I don't think that everything's so black and white either. So yeah, obviously I care more that animals aren't suffering than like eating bacon that I like won't even remember what it tastes like 5 minutes later, like care about it.
That's a really good point, yes.
But at the same time, I think in terms of like, and I know that it's not good, but like in terms of like convenience and like financially, just in my life right now, it doesn't really make sense for me to like be like picky in what I'm eating. Not even picky, but just like selective.
Let me ask you one more thing. Would you be willing to watch like a quick 1-minute video with me? Is that something you could do?
I feel like I need to go because they've just been waiting for us.
It's understandable.
But if I can watch it later if you show it to me.
Yeah. Let me give you that resource real quick. Yeah.
I value the life of an individual. No question, hands down.
Yeah.
It's not about me.
Yeah. Then I would ask you whenever you go to over there get food, think about the cow. Think about the cow.
Justin, I'm not going to think about the cow today when I go and have this hot dog that I've been waiting for because I'm hungry and haven't eaten all day. I value the life of an individual. It's not about me.
Yeah.
But I will, you've planted some stuff in my mind, so it gives me pause to think, But then, at the same time, you need to give me a bunch of different alternatives,
I actually will. I'll give you something. Do you want a resource?
What's the resource?
Oh, so it's a website. Do you have your phone on you?
Go ahead.
It's a Challenge 22. So what it is, it's like a 22-day challenge. Go vegan for 22 days. You don't like it, whatever.
Challenge 22 is what it's called, right?
Challenge 22, yeah.
Okay. I promise you I'll read about
Challenge
that.
22. Yeah.
Okay.
I love them.
But Challenge 22, I will check
22.
it out.
Awesome, yeah.
I appreciate you.
So if you enjoyed this video and want to help me make this my full-time career, check out my Patreon in the description. And shout out to Ryan O'Neill, Tom Eisenweiss, Nutbase News, and Matthew Lara.